When I became party leader and Taoiseach back in June 2017, I knew that one part of leadership is knowing when the time has come to pass on the baton to somebody else, and then having the courage to do it. That time is now. So I am resigning as President and Leader of Fine Gael effective today, and will resign as Taoiseach as soon as my successor is able to take up that office.
Let's delve into this further with Eoin O'Malley, who is an Associate Professor at Dublin City University. Eoin, really good to see you. First of all, were you surprised by this decision like some other people? And how much of it do you think is political and how much of it is personal?
I would take him at his word and assume that it's a bit of both. We can see that he's somebody who has probably worked hard in trying to build a kind of a legacy, but politically he hasn't really succeeded. He's failed in delivering anything for his party. His party is kind of languishing in the polls. Most of the things that he's delivered are probably have been successes for the left, and his party is on the centre right. He's also had kind of personal difficulties, I think, in that, as somebody who's a gay man, his lifestyle and his personal life has come under pressure. And so he's possibly also kind of thinking about that and whether he wants to continue with that sort of pressure on him.
Yeah, and the Deputy Prime Minister, Micheál Martin, has said, no, we're not gonna go early to the polls, which there has to be an election in Ireland within a year. Can they realistically hold off an election for a year, given Sinn Féin, the main opposition party, are chomping at the bit and leading them consistently in the polls?
Well, I think because they're chomping at the bit and leading consistently in the polls, I think it's more likely that they will probably hold on for another year. Even though you might think of it as a tenuous coalition, because it's under pressure, that's probably a glue that's holding it together. You can see that the three parties in power don't really want an election. They've got the seats in Parliament to hold off on that election, and so I think it probably does mean that an election is less likely rather than more likely.
So how do you see Fine Gael performing at the local and European elections, given the successor will only have been in place for, a month or so beforehand?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for that successor. Now, of course, that successor might be somebody who delivers something that the party wants a bit more of. At the moment, the Fine Gael party is probably, the leadership is delivering something of a kind of progressive liberal agenda, whereas the members and maybe the more traditional voters would prefer something slightly more conservative. And so a new leader might be able to do that, might re-energise the party, but it certainly will be a difficult local and European elections for a new party leader. And it will mean that new party leader is probably starting off from a low base. That said, there are probably also low expectations. So whether he or she, even if he or she does badly, people will probably be quite forgiving.
Good to get your analysis, Eoin. That's Eoin O'Malley, Associate Professor at Dublin City University.